Here are 4 things that you can do with Wordle as an English language teacher. You will have noticed that this video tutorial is far longer than the other ones, and you can tell that I'm a big fan of Wordle then. Number 1, find a short news article. The source could be the internet or a reading passage from your adopted textbook or a listening extract, and copy and paste it onto the box in Wordle to create a poster. You may copy and paste the entire text or just the most relevant words in the story. You can tell that I actually grabbed a copy of the poster. I always like to keep a copy of the poster. You may use PowerPoint or presentation tool of your choice or software for interactive whiteboard. By creating a poster like this, you raise interest prior to the reading activity, and you precondition the students' minds before they get to read the text, as you provide a frame. And you may also pre-teach or introduce words that are key to understanding. So you could show the poster from your interactive whiteboard or projector on the screen and ask the students to discuss first in pairs or small groups what they think the story will be about, and try to identify troublesome language. Then elicit answers from the students, pre-teach that vocabulary, and give them the text to read. You could have a speaking discussion after you've read the text, or the students have read the text. I actually took the story, this reading passage, from BBC Learning English, Words in the News. If you're not familiar with this, it's worth checking. It's a fantastic source for news for your classroom. You get the video and you get the transcript for the story. You have key language and also exercises. So you could just simply grab this text and copy and paste it, and then get the students to read it later or watch the video, or both. Okay, my second type of activity is this one. A poem. So from a reading / speaking activity to a writing / listening activity. Show this poster to your class and ask them to write a short poem of about 6 to 10 lines of length, using as many of the words as they can see on the poster. Obviously, depending on the language level of your students, you may need to pre-teach some words. Before they get to write their short poems, ask your students questions such as, think about who is the narrator, where's the setting for your poem, what's happening, do you know the word castaway, do you know the word shore. Then have the students write their poems individually and then read them out. Maybe you can decorate the classroom with those poems as well. Finally, you fess up and tell them that the words that you projected on the screen or the interactive whiteboard are actually words coming from a song. They're lyrics from a song. And you may have noticed by now the song is Message in a Bottle from the Police. Then you can play the song, and then you can have the students filling gaps or do whatever exploitation you decide to have with the song. Activity number 3. Ask the students to, at home, choose about 20 to 30 of the most useful words coming from the textbook unit that you have just covered with them in class, and ask them to print out copies at home. It's not essential that every single student prints a poster. Let's say that if you have a class of 20 students, then 5 or 6 posters should be okay. If you have a class of 30, 7 or 8 posters are fine. The students bring the posters to class. You set up groups of 4 or 5 students per group, and the students place the posters on the desks and look at the words, and they have to produce sentences that are true of themselves using the words they see. For example, I get up at 8 o'clock in the morning, I never get to school by train, I'm a bit of an early bird, the weekends I relax, I don't usually go to the cinema, things like that. These words actually come from Jetstream Elementary textbook, Unit 3, I believe. Then they can swap posters with other groups as well. Save the posters, don't get rid of them, because you can always use them again and again to revisit vocabulary. So in this case, it's the students themselves that are producing the posters, that are creating the posters, and you're not displaying this from the screen. The students are supposed to print copies. And finally, my fourth teaching suggestion would be to use Wordle for off-the-cuff vocabulary. As you suggest words in the classroom, as you annotate words on the board, or you provide useful vocabulary, or you reformulate what the students are saying, just keep a tab open on your browser and keep Wordle open and type the words on the go, just as teaching happens. Then at the end of towards like the last 5 or 10 minutes of your teaching session, then create the poster. I've already created it with more words. This is just an example. Actually, it's an example from words that I used that came up one day in class. And use the last 5 to 10 minutes of your lesson to have a look at those words and to ask the students to generate sentences, or to think if they to see if they remember those words. Yeah, for example, there are very good word combinations here, such as bland vegetables, or big procrastinator, or tough meat, uninviting weather. So you could just display this poster and ask the students to work in pairs and see if they can find good collocations out of the words that they see, or just clarify understanding, or ask them to just do things with the words and play with those words in their minds for fixing this vocabulary so it registers in their minds.